Hey, what's up guys? It's Jay with Columbus Car Audio. Today I'm sitting here with Brandon Brown, one of the sales guys up front. And Brandon, we've been doing these little interviews with some of the guys, just kind of letting people get the feel for who they're dealing with or what they can expect from people, and just a little bit about yourself. So just out of curiosity, man, how did you get into this? What made you decide to choose this as a profession?
When I was probably in middle school, my sister was dating a guy that had like a really loud system in his car, and I really fell in love with it at that point. The way that people would come gather around the car whenever we would go to even the mall on a Friday night and stuff like that. It just seemed like he was like the guy. And I mean, even before that, my dad was always into this stuff. Not so much the loud output and bass like what I'm into, but just doing modest upgrades on electronics and vehicles. I was helping my dad do that when I was a kid, like 7, 8 years old in the driveway at home. So just something that I always had a passion for.
So you've been with us a long time now. I think you started in 16, right?
My technical hire date was in 2015, but
that's right. Yeah, because you started the first day, the second. Yeah. One of the things that cracked me up about that is I remember you saying shortly after, you thought you knew a lot about this, and then you come in here and it's like, oh wait, maybe I don't.
Yeah, well, when you're just an enthusiast trying to learn how to do everything, you've got resources pretty much like YouTube. Like I remember I used to go to the library and look for books on this topic, just see what I could learn about it, because I thought I was a beast, pulling power wire through fender wells and stuff like that. I thought I knew how to do installs super clean, and after working here and seeing the work that we produced and learned about all this different equipment, I knew a lot about subwoofers and amps.
Yeah.
And actually I didn't even know a lot about that.
And
I knew something about that, but once you're here and you deal with it every day, of course you're going to pick up new things. Of course, I thought that I had this wealth of information that I found out I didn't. And I learned a lot. I mean, really, even in the first couple weeks of being here, it's been a real learning experience. So.
Yeah, and I didn't mean it like you didn't know anything when you came in. It's just I had the same thing when I started. I thought, man, I know all this stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't go to libraries because I'm afraid of those. But I went to a trade school in Toronto for 4 or 5 weeks, just a crash course on mobile electronics. So I thought, man, I did friends' cars and things like that. I knew what I was doing, and then I came here and you start talking to some of these techs and you're just like, wait, I don't even know what you just said. Can you dumb that way down for me? Because I have no clue.
But all you got to do is just kind of hook up the wire.
That's right. All you got to do is hook it up, plug it in.
And everything else.
Oh, yeah. And of course, so I'm a little older than you by a couple days. But back in our heyday, I swear nobody knew anything about Ohm's Law or any of that stuff. We just hooked that stuff up until it fried or shorted out. And then it's like, okay, we got too many speakers on there,
Right.
And I feel like that's so much of what people think we still do. And I was talking to Javier the other day about it, and it's like, you go back there now, and of course, you've been on both sides of the fence here. You've installed for us, and you've worked up front with me. Everybody has a computer or a tablet or something. You can't work on these cars without it anymore.
Yeah.
Back in my day, there was none of that, So many shops tune by ear, and I think so many shops still do. Where we're using oscilloscopes and we're using different instruments, RTAs, things like that to tune a vehicle or to set gains. It's crazy how it's progressed, and the fundamentals of it are all still the same. I'm sure a lot of guys have done the stuff that most of us are now doing or doing more fluently now since day one back in whenever they started this stuff,
Right. It's like a lot of people don't understand there's actually a science behind it.
No, they don't.
All you do, you just go find some speakers and throw them in the car.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of it.
what happens if you have an amplified system and it has a different impedance than what's readily available in the aftermarket world. I mean, that's things that I run into every day. I didn't know anything about that when I first started, you know. Actually, for a long time, I was working in a different profession. I did like robotics and electronics and stuff like that before this, man, because I really didn't think that there was a job market for this.
Well, and I completely forgot about that, because when I looked over your application, I'm like, it took me almost a month to call you, because I'm like, this guy's not going to want to come work here. And I needed a salesperson. I didn't even need an installer at the time. I'm like, this guy, there's no way. You know, I just figured you were like some engineer that, you know, had all this information and had no intention of coming here, and I couldn't believe that you applied. And then after talking to you, you know, I think for one, I was shocked at you know, I thought it was going to be a much older person, because of all, you know, just because of like the field that you were in. I'm like, okay. And then, you know, after talking to you in the interview and stuff, I just, you know, and I still do. You know, half the time I feel like it's a miniature version of me. Not as pretty, but you know. But so what's your favorite, like, you know, someone comes through the door, what do you think your specialty is in this industry right now?
I think my niche, especially here in the company, is going to be more like when we want something that's going to have like tremendous output.
Yeah.
It's no secret, especially among my coworkers and my clients here, that I have some tremendous hearing loss. So I don't hear very well. So when it comes to like the sound quality oriented builds, I can hear the difference between a really good sounding car and not. It's probably not as much as the next person. But you know, it's like I was just talking about what really got me into this, and what really still keeps me in it is going to be like SPL style builds, and you know, just getting as much bass as you can, and being the guy that shows up at the parking lot and everybody's like, damn, that car's, man, that car's nice. So that's what I like to do. You know, just make sure helping some of the new guys matching up equipment. You know, whether it's just getting the impedance right or picking the right amp for the subwoofers that we have inside. I like building boxes and doing custom fabrication and things like that. Like, I feel like I'm the one that, you know, probably suggests that type of ticket more than anybody else, where you might be on the nicer equipment. You know, I look at, hey, let's do some modest equipment and do a really killer clean install, man, with excellent presentation. I think that's kind of my specialty here.
Yeah. So, you guys may or may not know Brandon's building a big system in his Civic for, like, I don't even know the umpteenth time since he's been here. At any rate, when this car's done, what's the first song you're going to play?
It's kind of random, but...
Is it going to be Careless Whisper?
Probably not Careless Whisper. I've actually... it's kind of funny when you put thought into stupid things like this,
yeah.
But it's kind of probably going to come down to the bass boosted version of Taylor Swift. What's the name of that song? Blank Space. Yeah, I got a bass boosted version of that.
Okay.
Or probably I'm a big fan of Tech 9, so I'm probably gonna go back to my original plan from like 10 years ago when I first started rebuilding this, and this Trapped in a Psycho's Body is going to be the tester for the new system.
Okay. So in general, normally, do you have like a go-to song for like, you know, like a car that you build? It has this song. It has to sound perfect on. Like, is there a certain song for you? Or I mean, you're a lot like me when it comes to music too. Like, you're just kind of everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
So is there like a song that stands out? Like, you know, if you're testing to see how a vehicle sounds or anything like that, is there a song that you go to?
Not. Yeah, actually, it depends on the build, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm testing the output, and it's weird because, like, I don't, like, listen to this type of music, like, regularly.
Yeah.
But there's a group, I think they're called, like, Suicide Boys. They spell it weird. It's got, like, dollar signs or something in it. But it's like every single song that they make is just so loud. Like,
yeah.
The low end on it comes through so loud, it doesn't matter. When I'm in here, I got to turn the speakers off so we can just listen to the sub, because of course none of it's edited, but
right.
all of their beats are just super loud. And then when it comes to, you know, because like I said, I still do the sound quality stuff too, man. When it comes to music like that, I really like Can't You See by the Marshall Tucker Band, as well as Time by Pink Floyd. You know, especially the opening of that song, man. I've heard, you know, some of the other veterans in the industry, like Ken Ward and stuff, talk about like there's 13 clocks and you can hear them coming from different spots all throughout the car at the beginning of that song, and you really can on a properly tuned system, man. It's amazing.
It's crazy to me that like you've said, you know, you can't, and I know you have a really hard time hearing, but at the same time, I've watched you pick stuff apart and being able to hear stuff that a lot of people wouldn't pick in music. So it's crazy to me to know that, you know, the hard hearing, you overcome that. Even, you know, I mean, you and I have sat and listened to stuff. You and I have had talks about Tidal and high res music and things like that. It's crazy to me that you can hear all that, you know. But I mean, you can't. And again, you know, like I tell people all the time. I mean, everybody hears differently.
Yeah.
Every person you you put in front of this display, and you know the outcome of this display. You know what you want to listen to, but someone else hears it a little bit different than you, or you know, that's one of the best things about our industry, man, and about our jobs is we get to listen to music all day, and you know, everybody has different flavors of music that they like, and something might move them differently than another. So, all right, well, guys, if you have any other questions or want to come listen to some of this stuff or see Brandon's build when it's finished up, stop down. He's at our Morse Road location. We do have 2 locations. We have the one here on Morse. We have one out east on Main Street. You can always check out all of our social media pages. You can check out ColumbusCarAudio.com, and you can still call us on a phone. So stop in or give us a shout.